So there is a lot of correlations in the stock market, sector by sector. So by sector, I mean like you can see the labels right here, right? Financial sector, technology, communication services, right? And sectors tend to move together. So in the stock market, and these are the plays I would make, right? You have your big elephants, right? You can see your big elephants right here, for example, right? You got your big elephants, your big boys, right? These are your elephants. These are your little flies around the elephant's tails, right? Not all of these are little, but just kind of in comparison, like imagine smaller stocks. Typically, the smaller stocks will go the way of the bigger stocks, right? If the sector is running wild in one direction, typically everything in that sector, unless it's like kind of a one out situation, will run with it. So if you notice that the tech sector is booming, right? There's a good chance that there's a small tech stock out there, like obviously, as long as it doesn't have any like bad news, is going to move with it simply because that's the flow of the ocean, right? Does that make sense? The big fish are creating the momentum and the smaller fish just ride the wave with it, right? That's typically how it happens. So if you're trading, if you're let's say you're day trading stocks, right? And let's say Zach comes in here and he's like, man, tech is on fire. Tech is on fire, right? And again, stocks tend to, for the most part, trend more than currency pairs, right? What I would do is, right, I go down, I go through my filter, right, my little scanner. I scan tech stocks. I scan specific tech stocks in my price range. And I look to day trade. I look to day trade only looking for continuation opportunities, some of those smaller tech stocks. Because we know that we're aligned with the current. We know that the whole sector is moving. So there's a good chance that this small thing is moving with the bigger sector, right? So now the question is, how can I get involved? And that's where I go to the technical. So that's the kind of the fundamental and technical differences, right? Where this would be a fundamental reason. Again, using the tech example. Tech is booming. That's my fundamental reason. I create my bias. I want to be a buyer. I want to be a buyer of small tech, right? Again, assuming I'm looking for something that I can actively trade, and going back to me where I didn't have a lot of money in the market, right? So I want to look for a small tech stock that I can buy. So I go to my scanner, I run my scanner for tech stocks, I run my scanner for, whatever price margins I have, and then I hit the charts, and then I look for those technical reasons. Okay, which one has a good technical setup? This one's at blah, blah, blah. Oh, this one just broke structure. Boom, pullback, waiting for it. You guys follow me? This is what, so it makes sense for that. If you're trying to identify, and this would be part of your pre-market analysis, if you're trying to identify a sector to really dial in on. Because remember, with the stock market, there's so many more options than the Forex market, right? The Forex market, we have what? 20 something at most? Like at most, your broker's probably offering you like 20 something options. And within those 20 something options, there's probably like 5 of them that you'd never mess with. Like, are any of us going to Euro Pound? None of us are trading to Euro Pound, right? None of us are trading to peso, right? So there's probably like 20 options. So there's not a lot of options there. So it's easy to do kind of an overlook of everything, right? There's more than 20 options in the stock market. And there's a lot of stuff that slips through the cracks. So if you can run a scanner and you can specifically see, okay, well, I want to dial in on this section. Boom. Okay. Now within this section, I want to look for this type. Boom. Now you start the day with maybe a list of 10, similar to what we're doing in trading. You start the day with a list of 10, and then obviously you go down to your 10, you do your technical analysis, and boom. So it has value in that perspective. But most internet traders just show it because it looks cool. Most internet traders show it because it looks cool. Here's another one. Now this one I think is completely pointless.